You're listening to KFWB News Talk 980. My name is Les Brown. I'm Mrs. Mamie Brown's baby boy, and we want to thank you so much for joining us. Last night we had the opportunity to introduce a presentation to an audience, and we spoke just before Dave Ramsey because of his graciousness, and he was powerful and very brilliant as usual. And we had an opportunity to meet so many of our listeners, and we want to thank you for coming out and joining us. If you missed it, you missed something last night. Dave was in rare form. This program is designed to inspire you to live your dreams, to love your life, and to manifest your greatness. And we talk about a variety of things, and we invite you to join in the conversation. And I want to encourage you to become a part of this conversation. All of us have something to deal with in this particular area. This hour, we're going to talk about forgiveness. Stars and comedians are a very entertaining group, but when they get on each other's bad side, it can get even more entertaining. Take, for example, the feud that went on between George Lopez and Kirstie Alley. Let me tell you, earlier this week, Kirstie appeared on Dancing with the Stars and did her dance routine, and she was phenomenal. I love her. Kirstie, I love her. And needless to say, Kirstie has always, she's had a weight problem and for some time now. And George Lopez pointed that out on his TV talk show. He compared Kirstie to a pig and then said she did a nice job, her little hooves tapping away. He added that prior to the show, she went to the market and then she had roast beef, and this is her going all the way home. He then ran part of a Geico ad that shows a squealing piglet riding in a car. Kirstie found out about it and then twittered the following: "Don't worry about George's comments. Just remember what happens to the big bad drunk wolf. He falls in a boiling pot of vodka." Piggy laughs. Lopez then apologizes. He said, "I misjudged the joke. No malice was intended, and I apologize to Kirstie." Kirstie then sent another tweet, this time referencing Lopez's kidney donation from his wife, whom he is now divorcing after 17 years. She said, the Bible says, hell has no fury to match a woman's scorn. Kirstie said, "I don't need or want your apology. I want your kidney, dude. On behalf of your ex-wife and all the women you've insulted, give it back." But this morning, Kirstie tweeted the following: "Take life as lightly as you can, and then move on. Even you, George, you are forgiven." That's magnanimous on her part. Now, it's clear that things were bad, the feelings were bad between the two when they had this exchange, but ultimately, things are forgiven. I've had to forgive some pretty bad things, I think, in my life before. One of the things I had to deal with, the fact that my birth mother left my brother and I and deserted us, never came back. For years, I used to wonder, how could you do that? How could you bring kids into the world and just walk away? For years as a kid, I would look for a face that looked like mine. Sometimes I would be curious. I never forget that I was on a cruise and a fortune teller told me that my birth mother would approach me and she would say something. And there would be a particular word that she would say, a line that she would ask. And I'll never forget. I was selling some tapes at the back of a room, and a lady came up to me, and my back was to her. And the line that this fortune teller said that my birth mother would say, "Are you my long-lost cousin?" And my back was to this lady, and she said, "Are you my long-lost cousin?" And I turned around, and I said, "What did you say? What did you say?" And she was startled. She said, "What's wrong?" I said, "What did you say to me? What did you say to me, ma'am? What did you say to me?" She said, I just asked, "Are you my long-lost cousin? Because my last name is Brown, too." I said, "Oh, my God, I'm so sorry. All these years I've been looking for somebody to say that to me. I thought you were my birth mother, but you were too close to my age." Wow. And I knew I needed some help on this. I didn't even know that was in me. I had no idea that was a part of my consciousness for all those years. I was carrying that and waiting for that moment to hear those words, that maybe I would see her. Maybe a picture of her or my father. And I had to learn to forgive people, 2 individuals that I've never seen their faces. I was hating, but I had no face for the hatred to point at. My twin brother and I, to this day, we're 5 minutes apart. We have never spoken more than 3 minutes about my birth mother or birth father. Never. Even when our adopted mother died, I said, Wesley, as we were coming out of the cemetery, because we would never dare look for our birth mother while Mama was alive. We didn't want Mama to think that we didn't love her, because Mama was our real Mama. God took me out of my biological mother's womb and placed me in the heart of my adopted mother. So Mama was my Mama and my daddy. But out of the way, coming out of the cemetery, I said, Wesley, you ever think about him? He said, what are you talking about, Leslie? I said, our birth mother and father, do you ever think about him? He said, no, I hate him. I said, you want to talk about it? He said, hell no. And that was the end of that conversation. That was 15 years ago. We never had another conversation about them since then. And through conversations and counseling and conversations with friends, I came to a place of forgiveness. I wasn't given away. I was chosen with love. I want to ask you something. Has anyone wronged you at some point or another in your life? I'm sure you say, yes, Les, everybody's had that happen. I want to know what was done wrong to you and why did you forgive? What brought you to that place to forgive them? I've realized in my situation, the anger that I was holding, it was just destroying me. It wasn't doing nothing to my birth mother or father. And I don't know what their circumstances were that they decided they couldn't have us. I don't know, So I want to know what moved you to forgive? What brought you to that place where you said, I need to let this go? This doesn't matter anymore. Or what wrong has been done to you and you've said, I will not forgive. I just can't do that. There's a couple, not a couple, but here in L.A., I remember going to see a young lady speak and her father. And she was a victim of molestation by her father. And when I was looking at the two of them as they spoke, and he talked about, he admitted, he was straight up, that he had molested his child. And she talked about her forgiving him. I remember the last training about 2 years ago, a year ago here in L.A., a lady that was in a very negative state of mind, and she came to a place to forgive her mother in that session, that training session we were doing, who exchanged her, who sold her body for drugs, for crack. Her mother's still addicted to drugs to this day. And used her daughter, who was 4 to 5 years old, that early, gave her to crack dealers, to drug dealers, for sex in exchange for drugs. And it took her a long time. Took her a long time to forgive her mother. Have you ever had to forgive somebody? We're talking about forgiveness now. It's a tough thing. I saw some quotes that Dwight Fletcher said that forgiveness is a sweet fragrance left by a rose on the foot that crushed it. Call me now. Have you ever had to forgive somebody? The number to call is 888-539-2980. 888-539-2980. We're talking about forgiveness. 888-539-2980. Who have you had to forgive and why? And who has wronged you and you just said, I can't go there, I'm stuck, I need some help. 888-539-2980. My name is Les Brown. You're listening to KFWB.